They thought abandoning him would silence his potential. But in the deepest part of this cursed dungeon, something ancient was waiting. And the moment Rael touched it, the dungeon awakened. This is the day the weakest member died, and the most unstoppable hunter was born. Rael's body was a canvas of failure, each cut and bruise a testament to the party that left him for dead. He could still hear their voices echoing in the oppressive darkness. The party leader's words were the sharpest blade of all. He asked, dragging us down. Leave him. The monsters will finish the job. He watched them walk away, their torches shrinking into faint dots of light, leaving him in absolute blackness. He reached out a trembling hand, his voice cracking with disbelief. I trusted you. As their footsteps faded, a monstrous roar erupted from the depths behind him, shaking the very foundations of the dungeon. It was coming for him. Death was certain. Crawling through the rubble, his lifeblood staining the stone floor, his fingers brushed against something smooth and unnaturally warm. A faint, pulsing light emanated from a strange stone buried beneath the debris. Driven by an instinct he didn't understand, he touched it. The moment his skin made contact, a torrent of energy, hot and wild, surged through him like wildfire. Ancient symbols, glowing with ethereal light, swirled around his body, branding his very soul. A cold, mechanical voice echoed not in the cavern, but inside his mind. Synchronization complete. Ancient protocol unlocked. Rael gasped as the overwhelming power coursed through his shattered limbs, knitting bone and sealing wounds. What is happening to me? The dungeon itself seemed to tremble, not with rage, but with a sense of welcome, as if it had been waiting for its master to return. From the shadows, a monstrous creature, all claws and fangs, lunged at him. It was the same type of beast that had nearly torn him apart moments ago. But this time, something was different. Rael didn't flinch. He simply lifted a hand. Instantly, an aura identical to the monster's, but 10 times more potent, erupted from his body. The creature froze, its predatory instincts screaming in terror. Rael hadn't just awakened strength, he awakened dominance. With a flick of his wrist, he unleashed a single, focused burst of raw energy, and the monster disintegrated into dust. His wounds were gone, his fatigue vanished, and his eyes, once dull with despair, now glowed with a predatory light. No longer a victim, Rael began to walk deeper into the dungeon. He wasn't trying to escape, he was hunting. With every step, he tested his newfound abilities. His senses were razor-sharp, allowing him to see in the dark and hear the faintest whisper of movement. He could shape the raw energy of the dungeon into weapons. His body moved with an instinctive combat prowess, as if he'd been training for 1,000 years. But there was something else, something far more dangerous. With every monster he defeated, the dungeon itself seemed to feed him more power, more knowledge, as if it were shaping him for a very specific purpose. If you're loving this transformation arc, hit that subscribe button. Now, let's continue Rael's rise. Meanwhile, on the surface, sunlight felt like a distant memory. Rael's former party sat around a campfire, bragging about their wise decision and mourning his tragic death. But their laughter was cut short as a tremor shook the very ground beneath them. A wave of immense, unfamiliar energy pulsed up from the depths, radiating from the dungeon entrance. The party's mage, a woman who prided herself on sensing magical fluctuations, turned pale. That can't be Rael. No one survives that place. The tank, a mountain of a man, laughed nervously, his bravado failing him. He's dead, right? Right. Their forced smiles couldn't hide the flicker of guilt and a newfound seed of terror. Back underground, Rael moved like a phantom. He was no longer just a warrior. He was an extension of the dungeon's will. Every monster, from the smallest goblin to the most fearsome golem, fell before him effortlessly. It was as if they recognized him, not as an intruder, but as their rightful sovereign. The dungeon marked him, guiding him towards its heart. There, in the final, massive chamber, a shadow beast of colossal size waited. It was the dungeon's final guardian, a being of pure, ancient power. Rael didn't hesitate. He simply clenched his fist, his voice calm and deadly. Let's finish this. The battle was explosive, but the guardian was no match for its new master. Rael adapted, copied its abilities, and overpowered them. He unleashed a final, cataclysmic burst of energy that shook the entire cavern. As the dust settled, the mighty guardian, defeated, knelt before him. A brilliant beam of ancient light descended from the cavern ceiling, striking Rael. His body levitated, floating in the center of the chamber as glowing symbols, more complex than before, carved themselves into his skin. The system voice returned, resonating with finality. Authority granted. Dungeon sovereign activated. Rael landed softly on the stone floor. The raw, chaotic energy was now a calm, controlled ocean of power within him. He was stronger, calmer, and infinitely more dangerous. They left me to die, he whispered to the silent chamber. But now, I choose who dies. The great stone doors of the dungeon, sealed for a century, blasted open with a force that sent rock and debris flying. Rael stepped out into the daylight for the first time. His simple leather gear had been transformed into a suit of glowing, dark armor. and his aura was so overwhelming that the very air around him warmed. Villagers cried out, pointing and gasping. Rumors of a demon escaping the cursed dungeon spread like wildfire. His former party, who were packing their camp nearby, froze. Their blood ran cold as they saw him, alive and utterly transformed. The leader's voice shook as Rael approached, his steps silent and deliberate. "Rael, you're alive?" Rael stopped and looked at them, his eyes empty of any familiar warmth, replaced by a cold, burning purpose. "You abandoned me once, but I'm not the same man you left behind." And so begins the rise of the hunter forged by betrayal and reborn by a power no human was ever meant to wield. Rael turned and walked away, his new cloak whipping in the wind, leaving his former comrades to their terror. This is only the beginning. Thanks for watching.